Samtastic here, bringing you one of my favorite little tricks from one of my favorite little games. If you don't recognize it already, then shame on you. It is Super Metroid, also known as Metroid 3 on the Super Nintendo. I specifically started at the ship because I've noticed the success with this seems to be the greatest when you start from there. Now, this is well into the realm of bug exploitation. It's not like a fun little gameplay trick. It's a oops, I broke the game kind of trick. So what you need to do is make your way down here to this particular platform that you land on and go through the door. Now, you can do this pretty much after you get the plasma. So we're gonna throw on the required weapons, turn off charge, turn off wave, turn on ice, turn on spacer, go to speed booster, and press left and A at the same time. And if you do it right, it will look like that. Then you shoot your gun once and only once, or everything will freeze up and you'll have to reset the game and try again. Make your way back through the door slowly. Once you get to the other side, I highly recommend turning off all of your, turning off your glitched out weapons there so that you don't, again, cause the game to totally freeze up and crash. Now, this bug I discovered online. I read about it from interwebs. One thing that I have never actually read about in use of this bug is saving your game and what happens when you save your game. So I'm gonna do that and show you after I run to that wall at high speed. We'll try that again. This is a whole lot faster than me trying to actually jump up in that other room there, because it takes forever. I'm really bad at it. I'm kind of, yeah. Anyway, you just make your way back to your save point, which in our case is going to be just inside the next room up. I mean, it may not work on your first try when you do it. Sometimes the system will just freeze, and it's just a fact that you have to cope with when using this bug. What the bug does, if you notice there are no enemies here, it basically resets the game back to whatever you were at when. I mean, what happens when you first come to Zeebs in the beginning, or Zebus, as they call it in other M. And so there we go, saved. We will restart it. And hey, this is the intro.
Is in captivity. The
galaxy is at
peace.
peace. And yeah, so it oddly starts you at the very beginning of the game with the intro, which actually allows a couple of sort of amusing things to occur. One of which will come up pretty quickly here. As you're killing Mother Brain, you get knocked back, and oh wait, I have Screw Attack equipped. Yeah, that's not normal. That's not what's supposed to happen. So cracks me up pretty good every time. Now, speaking of other M, they seem to have this big focus on what happens with Mother Brain and this baby Metroid. Now, I want to point out, this is at the end of Metroid 2. You come to this Metroid egg because you're eradicating all the Metroids. Total xenocide. And this little baby pops out, and instead of attacking you, it loves you, and it wants to be your friend. It thinks you're its mommy. And spoiler alert, by the end of this game, it is huge. It's a massive Metroid, like really big, and not a baby anymore. And they just seem to completely ignore that when they made Other M, which is it was one of the things that annoyed me. All in all, I think that game's pretty sweet, because they managed to actually preserve the concept of a side-scrolling platformer in 3D. For the record, I also think that the Prime games are all phenomenal. I left the station to seek a new bounty to hunt, but I had hardly gone beyond the asteroid belt when plot happened. And there you have it. Now, one of the things that I just seem to forget every single time that I come to the station is that it does not have the bubble doors that exist in the entire rest of the game. So I shoot them, and shooting them does nothing. As you will see... There! Oh, I tried. It was already open. In case you're wondering, I am recording this audio separate from recording the video, so I already know what's going to happen. One thing that you can do to open those doors in a non-orthodox way is drop a power bomb. It just blows them right off the walls. I don't know if that was how it was supposed to be designed, because I'm pretty sure the developers didn't really expect that you'd be able to do this at all, you know, without the use of a game genie, I suppose. But the regretful news is that Ridley does not care that I have the most powerful weapons in the game, is completely unconcerned with that. And if you want to have fun, you can blast that door off the wall, because you're not supposed to be able to leave this room until Ridley's dead. However, I don't recommend that if you're actually trying to get through the intro, because it can cause weird glitches and stuff with the timer, and other fun stuff that's just pretty bizarre. So it can be entertaining, but it can also prevent you from actually getting through this part. Yes, so Ridley does not care how much damage you dish out, but only how many times he gets hit, unfortunately. The two ways that this fight ends is that Ridley either gets you down low enough on your life, or you shoot him enough times. And, you know, with 12 energy tanks, it's not really reasonable to lose all of my life. So I just shoot until Ridley decides to drop the little Metroid canister. That baby Metroid. And that should happen any moment at all. Yeah, the intro really is sort of long and annoying. It's the most regrettable part of this whole process. See, you're a loser, Ridley. You should play more video games so you can have better hand-eye coordination. Foot-eye coordination. And this part cracks me up. You totally don't need all 6 minutes. Or 6... Wow. You totally don't need all 60 seconds. All the minute that they give you. Especially when you have, you know, speed booster and screw attack to avoid the debris. Now, using power bombs isn't really time effective, but I guess you could. Oh, and high jump. High jump makes it easier here too. Space jump. Space jump makes it a little easier. And falling down like a tool does not. And then, as happens frequently when Samus leaves a location, it explodes. And the asteroids are completely untouched by the force of that explosion for whatever reason. So here we go to Zeebs. I still call it Zeebs. I don't care what Team Ninja says, another M. It's since they sort of ignore the canon from this game anyway. As you arrive on the planet surface, you can then save your game and not have to do that intro again until you exploit the bug again. And yes, you may notice that all the missiles are gone, but everything else gets kept. Super missiles pretty much replace missiles. They don't shoot as fast, but they're something like 5 times stronger, so it doesn't really matter. And I do want to take a moment to show you what a save game looks like when you really use this bug way too much. I think it's absolutely hilarious, but I decided to start doing this regularly on my cartridge. One of my goals in playing this game is to eventually cause the cartridge to no longer function due to this save file, like buffer overflow or whatever else. Maybe cover the entire screen here with, well, you'll see. There's really no easy way to explain it. It's much better seen, because it's much funnier that way. There it is! Yep, those energy tanks go up off the right side of the screen, come on the left side of the screen, and go up off the top. I'm wondering if I keep at it, if they'll start coming up the bottom. I don't know. And as you can see, my super missiles and power bombs are not using a standard numbering system. I honestly have no idea how many of each I have. I'm really not sure at all. So I'm just going to start shooting them off to kind of give you an idea of how many super missiles I actually have equipped, that I have acquired over the course of playing with this file. So, a couple of weird things can happen as you progress through. You notice the enemies are already there again. And, I don't think that usually happens, but what are you gonna do? It doesn't matter. It's better that they're there, because then I have stuff to kill with my super missiles. And, yeah, I mean, basically, you can sort of mimic the having all of your items when you start over with the Game Genie codes, if you happen to have a Game Genie or if you're playing on an emulator. But you can't, to my knowledge, there aren't any published codes for getting this many of anything. And speaking of emulators, for those of you that do enjoy playing your games on emulators, just to let you know, give you a heads up so that you don't have to disappoint yourself. The bug that we exploited there is not something that, from my experience, works with ZSNES. It causes the SNES to freeze up, but I have gotten it to work with SNES 9X, for the record. And I do want to come show you that I do actually know how to play the game, that I don't just like blindly run into stuff just because I have so much energy. Pull! I like to do skeet shooting from this location. It amuses me. Pull. Yeah. Blast him out of the sky. And, yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't care if something bumps into me because I have more energy than I can think about. And I've got more super missiles than I can think about, so, you know, playing conservatively is not something that needs to be done at this point. And that's kind of the fun of the process of exploiting that bug, is that you kind of get to a point where you can just run around blasting through everything and have absolutely no fear of anything. And it's not that you used a cheat code, it's that you actually played through and got all that stuff, so you were able to overpower yourself massively. But yes, I would like to show you that I am capable of playing the game. There are a couple of tricks that I still need to learn before I actually tried speedrunning it or anything like that. That I'm not super great with, but I do know how to play the game. And I'm going to show you how to get a kind of hard to reach missile power up. And it just occurred to me why all those enemies were there, because this is not the game this is not the file that I just used to exploit the bug. So, you know, the first thing that you want to do is completely forget to open that door that's over there, so that you have to run all the way back over and do it. No, you don't have to do that. You can open that when you come in. But you want to crouch for the shine spark as you're going through that door. You can see I started crouching there. And then very, very quickly haul over to that little piece of seaweed, and bam, you've got your missile upgrade. So that's that. I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you for being a fan. And that is all. Samtastic out.